Sit. Good. So before I have her go in her crate, I always have her sit and wait. You're never restraining her in any situation, because any kind of tension on the leash will make her go back to doing what she used to do, which is to be stressed out and nervous and unfocused. So you're always keeping that leash loose. If for some reason she bolts forward and wants to run in there or whatever, you're there ready to just do a little signal like that. Not to cause pain, but just all she needs is a little signal to go back to where she was a moment before, if that does happen. So I'm having her sit, opening the door, and with my right hand I'm going to pat her chest and say, go. She's going to go in there, and she turns around to meet me. She gets a little reward. I'm using this Natural Balance sausage, the lamb flavor. She really likes it. And when she turns around, she's got a little treat, and I immediately take off her collars and her leash and close the door. And if you want, at first, just to really get it in there that this is a great place to be, right before you close the door, another treat. And that's what I did at first. When I first started doing this a month ago with her, she was very agitated and nervous and didn't want to go anywhere and didn't want to go in the crate, but we just stuck with the program. I gently but firmly put her in there every time. We let her out 5 times a day at least. So she just got into the groove of things. Something really good happened when she went in every time. When I go in to take her out, something really good happens. So she started loving it in there, and she started loving the interaction with our hands going in there and hooking her up to her leash and collar and everything. So that's why she likes it so much now. And it just took a month to completely change her perception of what it meant to go into her crate. Now she looks at her crate as her den. That's her place. That's her private place. You're never going to do any training in there. You can't reinforce any kind of training anyway, but you can control the boundary, which is the most important part. So if you control the boundary to her den, and that's the way she sees her crate, because dogs are naturally den animals, then she's going to think that you are in charge, and she's going to love her crate even more because it's a privilege to go in and out of there, and she has to do it with your permission, and good things happen whenever she interacts with you when she's in her crate. So it all adds up together to being a very valuable part of the whole training system. When I take her prong collar off, I just hang it up there. You can put the leash and choke chain wherever you want. When I'm going to take her out, and by the way, she sleeps overnight every night in a crate, and throughout the day she's just in and out all day long. She may be in for an hour and out for half an hour. She might be in for 2 hours and out for 45 minutes. It's all random, but she goes out a lot. Every time she goes in and out, it's exactly like this. When I'm going to take her out, first of all, I'm going to put on her choke chain first, because we always double up on the collars just in case this prong collar ever comes off. The leash is connected to the choke chain, so that if the prong collar ever comes off, because it's attached to the prong collar as well, of course, the choke chain comes into play. Other than that, the choke chain is always loose. You're never using a choke chain for training, because that would be very damaging to the throat, and that's very not a good idea to use a choke chain for training. So it's only for safety. But the first thing I'm going to do is actually just put a little treat like this, put my hand through it. She's munching on another little treat, and I just draw it over her head like that. And then I can hook the prong collar up to the leash like that. See? Make sure it's not twisted. If it's twisted, it won't work right. And of course, this is the very smallest prong collar they make, and you see throughout the videos how we use it. It's never used for a correction to cause pain. It's just used as a signal to, if she goes ahead of you or if she ignores a command, we just use a little kind of like a prompt to give a signal to her that to reinforce a command occasionally. And you see, as time goes on, you have to use it less and less. But it's used very gently, so always use it the way you see us using it in the video. I'm going to just reach in here, hook it up, and see how calm she is. She's used to having hands go in there, hooking her up. She's waiting at the doorway. She's not trying to burst out of the crate. And I just hooked up the leash to the choke chain as well. So it's hooked up to the choke chain for safety in case the prong collar ever comes off by accident out on the street. Then you don't lose the dog. And that's why we always use it that way. And she knows to wait in there. And if she waits at first in your household because she's not used to doing this with you yet, you can give her a little reward. Good because she waited at the boundary. And I even practiced kind of stepping back like this and rewarding her. Good. If she waited. If she doesn't wait, no. Give this a little token slam. She knows what that means, and it'll back her up. So never let her go back to those days when she was bursting out of the crate, which is what she was doing for a little while. We've taught her to wait at the boundary, to respect the boundary. You're in charge of the boundary, and she needs to wait till you allow her out. So if you can turn just a little bit so she's on her left, pat your leg and say, okay, she'll come out. And then I always do a little left turn right here to go back and close the door, because this door is always closed because you are in control of her access in and out of her den. It's a very important part of the whole system, that it's just one of the pieces of the puzzle that makes her think that you've taken charge. If you're in charge, she feels safe, she's going to be calmer. Every time you have her sit and wait, either way, waiting at either way, in or out, she has to focus, she has to be in the moment with you, she can't be reactive, and those little periods add up with all the other things we're doing that calm her down and make her a lot easier to handle for you. Okay.